Um, in Schoology this week, one of your assignments is the senior paper outline. And I always tell students, do the outline, because if you do the outline, you're pretty much writing your paper already. There's no point of skipping the outline. The outline actually helps make sure that you stay in the right format and also make sure that you are organized. And so it's best to actually do the outline. When you open up the assignment, it is a Google Doc assignment, and that again is just a way for me to make sure that I can jump into people's documents and help them if they need any help. When you open up the document, it looks like this. Again, it's an outline, and it's going to tell you exactly, where to put things, where things go. So for example, up here it says put your last name. So you would just delete that part and put in your last name. Here it says replace this with your name. So again, you would type in your name, right? Mary Vu, right? Whatever your name is. Class, right? You type in senior finale. Teachers, right? You would put in your teachers for this class, and so forth. Like I said before, it starts with the introduction, but you can skip that part for now. You do want to fill in the thesis because, again, you always want to have your thesis at the forefront of your mind because that's the focus of your entire paper. And this is where we start, where it says subtopic 1, right? Subtopic 1. This is where we want to start. And so it just says replace with your subtopic. So keep the 1 here, but replace this part with your first highlighted color, whatever your color is. Once you replace it with that, then it says research, right? This is the header. Leave the header and start typing where it says begin typing, right? It says begin typing here, and it gives you some direction, right? It says begin typing here. Tell us about the facts that you found for this topic. Use what you put in your notes, right? So this is where you type about your research. And then once you're done sharing all your research, and remember you have to have at least 2 in-text citations, then we have another header here, or another section, and it says formal reflection, and then it says down here is where you begin typing, and you just tell us again, what does this research show you? How do you as the student or the researcher feel, right? This is where you kind of share your opinions, and then maybe why is this research important? And so every subtopic is going to have these 2 sections underneath them. And then when you're done with those 2 sections, then you just jump down to your next subtopic. You just pick another highlighted color, you fill it in here, and then you just start all over. You should have at least 3, if not 4 subtopics. So you'll see on the 4th one here, it says it's optional, but some of you, if you haven't hit the bottom of your 4th page yet, you may need to have a 4th subtopic. I want to show you an example, okay? So this is an example of a student's research notes. And like I said before, everybody should be done with their research notes. If you're not done with your research notes, it's pretty much impossible to write this paper. So this student, for his research question, he said, how has the fashion industry opened up to diversity? So he was interested in diversity in the fashion industry. And you'll see he took notes on articles that he found. He pulled out facts from the articles, and then he put down kind of his own thoughts down here. And then you'll see that he's been color coding things, right? He's been coloring them different colors. He's put things that talk about the same topic, the same color. And so at the top here, he has 4 color codes, or 4 categories, and these colors are going to become his subtopics. For example, one of his topics is about the health conditions or flaws, how the fashion industry needs to kind of open up to having more people who have health conditions or flaws. So for example, some of his articles, the Orange Facts, talk about models who are amputees, like they've lost their leg or they've lost their hand, or they have flaws like their skin is pigmented differently. And so that's one of his topics. He also has a yellow category where he's highlighted all the yellow facts about transgender models and how the model in fashion industry needs to open up to more gender diversity. And then he has people of color in purple. so being more racially diverse. And then he has plus size in the bright blue, right? So fashion industry being open up to more diversity in size. And so you'll see these are his 4 colors or his 4 categories, and then he's highlighted the different facts that match those colors. Well, now it's super easy to put your paper together because you pick one of the colors, which one do you want to start with, and then you plug it into the outline. So we'll just say for now that his first subtopic that he's going to start out with is colored people, or he wants to talk about diversity racially. And so what he's going to do is he's going to fill in the first subtopic with the color topic he picked. So people of color, well, that topic means he wants to talk about racial diversity in the fashion industry. And again, you just plug it in because in the draft, in the original one, it just says, hey, replace it, right? So replace it with what you are going to be having for your topic. Then the second part is the header where it says research, and you just leave that there. And then where it says begin typing, that's where you begin typing about what this paragraph is going to be about. So it just starts by saying doors in the fashion industry still remain difficult to open for people of color. And then they start just share your research, right? So one of the things that the student found was that spots for models of color are often very limited. In some shows, there's intentionally only 1 spot reserved for Black models. So this is a fact that he found. And then we have the citation. This is the author of the article that he found it in. And so if I'm looking at his notes, I can go and find that article. And so this is the author, or this is the article. This is the same citation he had here. So I know this is the article that he used. And I can see in this section right here, this is where he talks about how there is often a limited number of spots, right? There's sometimes there's about 2 spots in a show for Black girls out of maybe 50, right? So this is him using that fact in his paper here, that sometimes there's intentionally only a few spots reserved for models of color. And then we have another fact here, his research. In fact, color models made up only 27.9% of runway shows in 2017. And then again, it says cited, that's from the same article. So if I go down here, I see that right here in number 5, only 27.9% of models who walked the spring 2017 runway were non-white. And so this is a fact that he used, and again, he cites it. Then we have some other facts. Additionally, there is a huge gap of people of color being editors and chief designers in the fashion industry. And then we have a different article, right? So again, I can find that article in his notes and see where he got it. This is due to the lack of inclusiveness in the way the fashion industry hires designers and editors and chiefs. Then we have another quote or another citation of where he got that information from. And then this lack of racial diversity in the fashion industry is a huge issue, right? And then he has a quote here, and then again a citation from where that quote came from. So this first paragraph is the research paragraph. He just tells us all the research he found about how the fashion industry does not have a lot of people of color in the industry, and how there's maybe a gap between people of color and white people in the fashion industry. So this first paragraph is just the research. Just tell us the facts and give us citations of where you found these facts. The second paragraph, this is where we have our reflection. So what do you think? Now that you found all this research, what do you think? And you can just start by telling us, your opinion. So this example says, this research shows how important it is to have racial diversity in the fashion industry. And then, the student's just going to go on and talk a little bit more about how they feel. At the end here, it says this needs to change because opportunities should be available to all people. The fashion industry should work on helping fashion companies change their practices and train their staff to be more open-minded and racially conscious. So this is all just their opinion. Like, what do you think? How do you feel about this research, right? And so this second paragraph, there are no citations. You don't need to have any quotes or any facts in here. It's just your opinion. And so it's just a reflection. Once you're done with that, then you're ready for subtopic 2. And again, the student would just go back into their notes. They've already used the purple color, right? They've already used this purple color, and so now they just pick a different color. Do they want to move on to the plus size color? Do they want to move on to the transgender category, right? So they can just pick which is their next subtopic, and when they're ready, they just fill in the subtopic 2 with, transgender diversity in fashion, right? And then they're ready to type in their research. What did they find? So again, they just go in there, they look for their yellow facts, right? They look for the yellow facts, which yellow facts do they want to use, and then when they find one that they like, they can pull it and move it in, and they can just start typing their paragraph about that. So that's what we're working on, okay? It is working on doing our subtopic areas. So you'll see, like I said before, there are 4 areas for you to put in your subtopics, and that should be easy, especially if you're someone who did your notes already. Next week, we'll look at the introduction and conclusion, but for now, all we want to focus on is the subtopics, putting our subtopics together and then filling in our research paragraph as well as our formal reflection paragraphs. If you have any questions, let me know, okay? Otherwise, that's how the research paper works. It's a research reflection paper. So focus on your subtopics. What did you highlight in your notes? Make each category one of your highlighted colors. And then once you have your topic, tell us about the research for that topic, and then tell us about your reflection. What do you think about this topic and what you found?